do YouTube every day. It's at the very top on the side. You hit that and then swap it around, the horizontal or. I do it all the time for our church. I think it's the top one. It says horizontal on it. Right here. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Oh man, yours is different. Well, it's locked on there, ain't it? That's it. All right, orientation, rotate device back. Yours is different than mine.
Yeah, I'll just turn it around that way.
Yeah, but how you gonna hold it? You flip that sideways. Yeah. You can't rotate it like that. Put it back up there. And move them in.
You're good to go.
Oh. I'll show you after we're done what button it is. I just don't know on your phone. Yeah. Well, welcome back to Tiger Talk. We're excited to be back and ready for LaSalle Tiger football tonight. We're joined by LaSalle head coach, Hunter Johnson. We'll talk about this year's young but experienced Tigers, the work they put in during this offseason, the changes in the district, and what you expect out of them. And also we're going to look ahead to your matchup this coming Friday against St. Mary's, of course. So this is your third season leading LaSalle Tigers. When you took the team, can you compare the program to where it is today to when you first took over?
I'd say the kids are having a lot more fun. At first, when we started the early morning stuff, you had a lot of the kids were excited about it, but it took a little time for them all to really love it and enjoy it. I think we've gotten to that point now to where the kids that don't love it are kind of trickling away from the program, and the ones that love it and want to be here every day, they're here every day. And there's no exceptions on that. When kids don't show up, they're just not going to play, and they know that. And we see that happen from time to time, but that's just the direction we want to move forward to and grow in and all that type of stuff. So that's the biggest difference I see is just the being locked in and ready to play and ready to practice and work every single day.
You just mentioned trickling away, so that means you could lose players or you could gain players.
Yeah, exactly.
So saying that, you only got two seniors.
Yes, yeah. We got two seniors, and both of them are really good players.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. They've both played a lot the last few years, and they've grown a lot. And I'm excited to see the type of season that they can both have, but also I've really appreciated seeing the mark that they've left on the program already, and hopefully they'll continue to lead.
So, also, you have a lot of young players. I mean, you got a lot of sophomores that's going to be starting your offensive line.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. And the good news is most of them started as freshmen last year, so they've grown a lot.
They've grown.
And even if they didn't start, a lot of them played a lot. Like I use Brody Kirkland, for example.
Yeah.
He's had a great off season. Brody's been great practices and stuff. And Brody was an example of that. He didn't start a lot last year, but there were times where he played, and I was like, hey, he looks pretty good for a freshman.
Yeah.
You know? And now I'm looking at him, I'm like, he's a good looking sophomore. So, and there's other examples of that across the board. Hunter Boyd started, Hunter Boyd, yeah, we call him Boyd. But Hunter Boyd started every game last year when he was healthy, and he looked great, and he's grown a lot. He's had a great monstrous offseason. Yeah. A lot of these guys have. Parker Brown's back.
Yeah.
He'll be a junior. Tanner Delaney's been great for us the last couple of years.
Anchor on that line.
Yeah, he has. And he's actually, this week we're going to try him out at guard a little bit. He's been our center the last couple of years, but Bronx Bertrand has kind of risen to be a center for us now. We're going to give him an opportunity this week to start, and he's had a really good offseason as well. And Tanner can kind of go to, like, as good as he is at center, he's probably a little bit more natural at guard. So I'm excited to see if we can make that combination work a little bit. And then from a depth perspective, Charlie Seward's still there. He started a lot for us last year. He started in the scrimmage last week. He's still playing for us, and still going to give us some good reps. And so I'm excited about the whole crew. Now, we are thin, I would say, as far as experience goes, but the guys that we have played a lot, and I'm excited about that. And also, some of the guys that play O-line, and rotated there a little bit. Our starting defensive line for us don't have to play offensive line as much now. So Case and Cochran started almost every game last year, tackle and DN. This year he's been able to focus just at defensive end. Now he's still playing tackle, but he's not starting there because he don't have to now. And that gives him more reps that he can be fresh for on defense. Same for Colton Taylor. Landon Holloway's going to be starting at D-line. Taylor Miller, both of those guys can play O-line as well. But now we won't have to let them play both ways all the time if we ain't got to. And that's going to help that group, even though that there's only 13 of them or 14 of them, however many it is. The 9 or 10 that play the most are going to be able to play a lot more reps at full speed, and that's really a big deal when you're talking about the offensive and defensive front.
You talked about Kirkland looking good. I mean, he's 6 foot,
Yeah,
300 something pounds.
yeah,
That'll make you look pretty good right there to start with. So
he's definitely still growing.
I think I heard his nickname was going to be his Bull or something.
Yeah, that's what they call him. So I'm challenging Brody right now.
Yeah, very good. Like we said, it's a young football team, but many of those young players have already have varsity experience. That's just like your quarterback. I mean, he's young. He's a sophomore.
Yeah.
He got a few reps last year, not a whole lot to talk about.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he looked solid. He finished the year on a high note last year. I was excited about the playoff game.
Right.
The stats for the paper people saying. But,
yeah.
And he's looked good, and he's gonna have moments where he's a gunslinger, and I'm gonna have to say, hey, we don't have to throw it in double coverage there. You know, he's had those moments in 7-on-7, and we see those from time to time in practice. But overall, I mean, I'm just very impressed with his ability to stretch the field, short passing game, side to side, sideline to sideline, and be able to take vertical shots. And he's a student of the game is the biggest thing. He comes to me all the time asking me questions about, Coach, I was watching film, I seen this. Coach, on this play, we're doing this check, but what about this? And I like to see that. That's really good. And in fact, he's the first quarterback I've had since I've been here that I've seen us have that he actually calls pass protections, and he'll check the pass protections.
That's good.
Yesterday we were working on against certain blitzes when they're showing certain things. We'll change from this protection to this protection, and he'll call it out. And he'll check the running back and say, hey, you're not running your route, you're doing this. And I expect he'll make mistakes at that. Again, he's sophomore. But that said, him taking the steps to be able to do that already is a big deal. And it allows our offense to add a different dimension if we can throw it a little bit more to go with the success we've had with running the football. So we'll see if that can help us to score more points, because ultimately we got to score points in the end.
Well, your 2 seniors is White King and Alex Richardson. How important are those 2 going to be leading this young team?
They're very important. So Wyatt and Alex are the guys that every day they're here. They're consistent pace. The kids are, I mean, they love them. I don't see any issues in the locker room with those guys at the helm. And I see a lot of the young guys kind of following that lead, from working hard in the weight room and on the track and on the field, and sometimes understanding that you're going to have bumps and bruises and you got to play through them. And they're the representation of that. Last week I held Alex out of the scrimmage, and I tell people he's probably one of our best, if not our best player. But Alex didn't play because I held him out, not because he didn't want to play. It's one of those things. I'm not going to let him go out in the scrimmage and make a nagging injury get worse. And I trust that he's probably the best player on the field anyway.
True.
So it's one of those things to where it killed him, but I like to see that fire to where it's bothering them. Because if it doesn't bother them, then you got to really question if they're here for just to be on the team or if they're here because they love it. And I know that he loves it.
He does. So. Yeah, he's big on receiving and cornerback.
Oh yeah.
How important would that experience be on both sides of football?
It's very important. With him at DB, you know, you can trust him to kind of, whoever their best receiver is, he's going to match up with them and give them one of the best games they've had all year. I trust him to do that, and he's going to make big plays on offense. And I know Wyatt, offensively or defensively, he knows everything that we do like the back of his hand.
Right.
If anybody's out of position on the D line, he can correct them. If a DB is missing coverage or they're missing line, Wyatt can correct them if he sees it. He's smart enough to do that. And then on offense, he knows all the blocking schemes. He knows who the left guard is supposed to be blocking on the play. And even though he's never played that position, he knows it. And he understands where the routes are supposed to be. And like at practice one day earlier, a couple weeks ago, I don't even know if he noticed it. I heard him saying this because he was whispering it to a player, talking to him personally. But we go to the sideline after a play in our little inter squad that we were doing, and we run this flood concept, and we have to have so much distance between it, because if you don't, between the levels of the play, one receiver is going to run his DB in the coverage of the other guy, and they'll cover each other.
Right.
And that happened on the play, and Wyatt goes to the sideline. He's like, hey, your route's not deep enough. You got to get your route deeper. I'm like, I didn't even have to coach that. I don't know if he heard me saying that, but I like to hear that.
Yeah.
First of all, because not only is that helping our team, but also it's impressive because he hasn't played a ton of receiver. He
Right.
plays receiver and tight end for us, but he's mostly always been a running back. He knows everybody on
Yeah.
the job, everybody on the field's job. If we get in a bind and Luke needs a break at quarterback for some reason,
Yeah.
I know White can go play quarterback.
Right.
He may not have the most God-blessed arm that there is,
Right.
but he can get the job done and run the offense. So, and I'm
It's
impressed
good to
with
have a student of the game like that, especially a senior.
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
I mean, that's not only knows his position, but everybody else's position on the field.
Yeah.
So that's a plus. That's not ain't just being a leader in the weight room, leader on the football. It's being a leader overall.
Yeah, that's
That's a
exactly
good.
right.
That's a good.
And it helps when he's also your biggest, fastest, strongest kid.
Yeah, right.
When you look like White, you can do all those things. That's the guys that get college offers. And
Right.
That's why he's got to come
Yeah,
around.
I mean, yeah. How much have you seen this group grow together during the off season, especially with so many of these players growing up and playing together?
No, it's been great, man. I've been really encouraged by what I've seen. This is every year I say this, but this is probably the closest knit team that we've had. And it just keeps getting better
Yeah.
and better. This year we had our little team retreat thing we did. We went to a camp down in Pineville. We practiced at LC. We went running on the levee on the Red River. We just had them for a couple days away from everybody else and just focus on team stuff. And it was great to see the camaraderie and how they kind of grew together. Everybody was there, minus like one kid who had a really good excuse for why he wasn't there. And when you kind of get that participation and kids are locked in and focused on each other like that and competing, that's a big deal. And I think that we see that coming to fruition on the field too now because in the past, teenagers, especially teenage boys, a lot of testosterone moving. And when those kids, when one kid tries to correct another one, even if he's wrong, there a lot of times pride gets in the way.
Right.
Of that. And I've noticed lately that the pride on our team has went down a lot. Yeah. We have kids that when somebody corrects them or somebody tries to help them out, they're willing to listen. And sometimes you may not be wrong, but being willing to listen and learn from a teammate can sometimes make you better. And it does a lot of times.
You mentioned that you had a lot of people, a lot of your players showed up and went down. And y'all also was having practices at 5:30 in the morning. You was almost having everybody here.
Yeah, I see. I posted online. Okay, so we had 100% attendance for every 5:30 practice, but the first one. Right. I posted 95%. People are like, "Coach, why'd you say that?" Like, but people don't understand. During the summertime in high school sports, when you have an early morning practice like that, some teams do good to get 70% of their kids there. I mean, because kids go on vacation, especially before school starts. Kids are on church camps. So when you have everybody that can be there being there, and the one kid I had, by the way, that wasn't there, he literally was in the hospital sick. But he was there the next day when he got out.
Yeah.
So it's like when you have that type of participation and buy-in at that early morning, that's impressive.
Yeah.
And having 100% after that was just even more so. And in the future, we'll probably go back to that at some point and do that some more, because especially with the heat the way it is.
Right.
I mean, everybody sees the news with kids passing out, going to the hospital and stuff. And that's not something we want to play around with.
You got to protect them.
So I gave the kids the option. I say, guys, we can go late in the evening. Thing is you got to go to bed early and be ready for school the next day. Or we can go early in the morning. And I was shocked when 100% of the kids on the team was like, "Coach, can we go early in the morning?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm talking about like 5:30 though. And they're like, "Yeah, that's fine." And I tell this story because these two guys probably won't play a lot on the field this year, but they're freshmen for us that are going to help us out a lot on the practice field. They get water and stuff ready. They have a big part on this team. But I got here at 4:30 that morning. I was getting the laundry ready. I was getting all the practice gear ready. That's just what I do. I get here an hour early usually. And I get out of my truck and I walk up, and two of them are already sitting by the door waiting for me to let them in.
Awesome.
4:30 in the morning.
Freshmen.
Yeah, it's Hunter Nino and Shelby Conroy.
Wow.
They were already waiting on me to
Dedicated.
get here. And I unlock the door, and the first thing that they both do is walk in the training room. They start getting the water cooler ready, and they grab our ice tub and bring it to the sideline and start filling it up in case somebody overheats. They're doing all that stuff. I didn't even have to ask.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, that's great. I mean, that's from seniors all the way down to freshmen. That's the type of thing that's being built. And I give the kids a lot of credit for that because I give the idea and they run with it. And that's what you ask.
You can't just give them credit. You got to give yourself credit because you have established that here.
I appreciate it.
And that's good. And the whole community sees it. I mean, and the whole community is behind it. And we expect a bunch out of this team because you're preparing them. So, yeah, it's awesome. What do you believe is the biggest strength of this year's Tiger team?
Well, to be honest with you, I think it's going to be the ability to be balanced. And I mean that offensively and defensively. Because in the last couple of years, we've been very one-dimensional, and that's no secret. We played into the strengths of who we had. and we made the most of that. But now we have younger kids growing up that are a little bit more capable of spreading it out and doing different things. So we're going to try to make that our strength. I think that will be our strength. But a lot of these young guys, like you mentioned, a lot of these sophomores, although they've played a lot, they still got to prove
Right. You got to prove.
Playing it and getting experience is one thing, but at some point that experience has to turn into positive outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have to see that happen. But I think that should be our strength, is the ability to say, hey, it's 3rd and 1, but you don't know that we're throwing the ball here. You still need to keep 2 safeties back, or maybe at least keep your outside linebackers from blitzing the edge, because we can get it out there. And I think that's the biggest thing offensively. Defensively, I think we have a good front up front, like in the scrimmage last week. Although we didn't have the perfect scrimmage per se, we did really good in the run defense. We were very impressive run defensively. And I think a lot of that's going to continue to transition. And I think we have the guys in the back end, especially with Alex coming back healthy and stuff like that, that will help us to also be good in the pass game. And that way we don't have a big Achilles heel. We're kind of a jack of all trades.
Right. So Luke Lasser takes over quarterback this season. What have you seen from Luke that gives you confidence he's ready to lead this offense?
Just his want to be successful. That's really it. And that's kind of a Les Miles thing that he used to say to everybody. Oh, this guy has the want. People are like, what does that mean? And as before I was a coach, I probably wouldn't be able to really describe it, but now I can. I mean, he's there every day. He wants to be successful. He wants to be good. When he messes up, it bothers him to the point to where it's like he hates to lose more than he loves to win. I'm okay with that.
Right.
Because that's a good thing. Everybody loves to win, but people that hate to lose are the ones that are willing to do anything it takes to never feel that again. And he's one of those guys. And we got a lot of those guys, but that's the biggest thing I see, and I'm excited for that. He'll have his moments of excellence. He'll have moments of weakness.
Right.
But if we can grow through those and continue to push forward, that's when I'm happy with it. Right now, that's why I'm happy.
You talked about Luke's arm and his talent and his knowledge of the offense. How much does the ability to throw the football allow you to expand the offense this year?
Well, it allows us to do a lot more as far as being more simple on our offensive line, while also being able to spread teams out and keep them a little bit more honest. You watch a lot of film of us the last few years when we played good teams that were truly prepared for us. It was a lot of 8, 9 man boxes.
That's what they lined the box up.
And even then, we still got 200 yards rushing a game. We would, like, against Logansport, we got blown out. They were way better than us. I'll give them that. But we had over 100 yards rushing at the end of the night.
Right.
We made it happen, I mean, so my point is, though, is we are trying to move from that to where we can have a little bit more success and not have to just beat our head into that wall. And I know people see it, and I've heard people make comments like, man, they just keep running the ball. Why do they do that? Well, because the last time we threw a ball, it was 10 yards short of the receiver, and it was a pick 6.
Right.
So, and that's not a knock on anybody. It's just we got to do what we're good at.
Yeah.
And I think moving forward this year, we'll have the opportunity to do that because that arm talent allows us to stretch the field. Now we have a quick passing game that we can go to. We have the ability to stretch the defense and keep the corners and the safeties playing off. And I have some quality receivers that are able to stretch the defense. So a corner playing against Alex isn't going to feel like he can press Alex all the time. You're going to try to press Alex, be prepared because he benches 345. He's going to shove you off.
Right.
And if you're going to play off of him and think, well, I'll just play off and he won't run by me, well, he's also really fast and he runs great routes and he's strong to the catch. Lane Burnham's got great ball skills. Jace Corley, he's physical. He'll block your head. He'll block his tail off. He'll be physical against anybody. And then Casey Maxwell's a great athlete. I mean, shifty. When the ball's in his hands, he's technically not our fastest player, but for some reason, when the ball hits his hand, he looks faster than everybody else. And I haven't quite figured that out. Maybe it's just field speed, not track field speed.
Right, there you go.
But he gets it done, and I like to see that. So I think that we have the ability, if we can play smart and protect him up front, that we can kind of begin to grow on that as the year goes on. I'm not expecting us to come out and be Peyton Manning, Indianapolis Colts week 1. I don't want people to think that's what I'm saying. I see the potential of what we could become in the future. And week by week this year, our goal needs to be to continue to improve to where we can get to that level. And hopefully it happens this year to the point to where we're very hard to beat. And I think it could. So,
well, you mentioned, gaining a lot of yards running.
Yeah.
You lost 2 guys last year that put up some big numbers.
Yeah.
But you have a sophomore, Tannehill.
Yeah.
Didn't get to play much because of injury last year. How much is he gonna?
He's gonna surprise some people that didn't get to see him play. Now, people in the community that watched him junior high and seen him in JV a little bit last year before the injury, they know what to expect. But he is fast, he's quick, and the new element that he's added that I kind of like to say he took it from Jesse Stowe's playbook last year is he's physical.
Yeah,
he's not a big kid, like Jesse wasn't a big kid, but they would try to run over anybody.
Right.
And I had to tell him in practice a couple times already. I'm like, hey, we're thin at running back. I don't need you trying to just truck everybody. Like, because he'll run and there'll be a guy coming. And it's like, hey, if you just coast to the sideline,
Right.
you're going to score easy because you're the fastest guy on the team. Instead, Tannehill will literally be doing this and he'll go straight to the guy and try to run him over. I'm like, dude, it's practice. Just go score. Run the daylight. That's what I want you to do in the game, you know?
He's
So,
very shifty, too, though.
He is.
You know
He
what
is.
I
He's
mean?
shifty.
He can
he's
cut on a
fast.
dime.
And I think that's the element that he'll bring that we haven't had. The last several years, if you look back the last 5, 6, 7 years ago, we've had a lot of backs that are shifty and they're violent and they're physical. But the difference is a lot of them didn't have the breakaway speed that he does.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a sophomore and he already runs 4.58.
Yeah.
We have the catapult GPS thing where we go out there and run on the track and stuff. And 100 meters last year, the track meet in Monroe, he was hitting 21.5 miles an hour. I mean,
as a freshman.
As a freshman in high school. And like when we go out and run 40s, he's hitting 21, 20.9. And for example, LSU on Instagram about 6, 7, 8 weeks ago during the summer, they posted catapult results. Now their guys are running 40-yard flies.
Right.
It's not 100 meters, so it's more impressive for them. But Harlan Berry, for instance, is running 21.5 is what they showed on that.
He's a grown man.
And he's a grown man.
Yeah.
He's at LSU, probably a SEC starting running back.
Yeah.
Caden Durham's 21.5 miles an hour. But Tannehill's getting close to that as a freshman.
As a freshman.
So, I mean, if he keeps it up and he keeps working hard and he stays out of trouble and holds the course, that he'll be a great kid in the future. And I think he's got a lot to live up to, a lot of expectation. So,
all right, let's talk about the district. How much has the district changed with Logansport and St. Mary's no longer in it?
Well, the biggest thing that I'll mention right now is we don't have to drive 3 hours for football.
Thank you, God.
I like the Logansport coaching staff, and we've played them a long time, and we've always they've gotten the better of us for the most part. But it's always you're going to see a really good opponent over there, and I've enjoyed that. But being able to be closer to home and play teams that are more in our region, I think that's a big deal. And like the district opponents that we played in the old district that are historic rivals, like St. Mary, like Montgomery, and like now Lakeview.
Right.
We've been able to keep them on, and now we got St. Mary's in the Jamboree. So we're still getting our fix on some of the old school stuff that Tiger fans like to see. But we're also going to get a district that's better for us, not only location-wise, but also just in every other aspect as well of the game. So,
what does adding Block and Delta Charter bring to the district race this season?
Well, Block, adding them back in is bringing back a team that we have a lot of history with. They've been in our district 3 years into the last few years. So that's a lot of fun to be able to continue to play them and go against them. They always got a lot of speed and a lot of athletes. Delta Charter is a team that we're kind of swapping Logansport for Delta Charter. I mean, last year they were about even when it came down to it because they played each other and it was down to the wire. And that's a really tough opponent that not only gets you ready for playoffs, but also gives you something to look forward to every year and say, hey, if we can beat them, we can win a district championship. Because that's ultimately the goal. We've got to get back to a district title. We haven't had one since 2008. And I don't know if that's coming this year or not, but I want to make sure it happens soon.
Yeah.
So,
how much does that change the way you approach the district?
The district schedule, as always, is very important, and you want to try to manage your team to be the best in district. I think that's an obvious answer. But having teams that are more local, I think that's going to create some more intense rivalries. And I also think it creates more of a desire to try to exceed expectations and going against these quality opponents like Delta Charter and like Block and Northwood and trying to assert ourselves as a dominant force in Class 1A and have an opportunity to win this.
You open the Jamboree up against a familiar opponent, St. Mary's. Even though they're no longer in the district, does that old rivalry still add a little extra excitement?
Yeah, I think so, especially for the alum. That was a big deal for them in their years coming through high school and stuff. I think in the last 10, 15 years, we've kind of seen some of the old rivalries that teams had lose their luster and stuff like that. And it's not just us; it's across the board.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like kids these days being so much more connected, they have a lot more friendships. Like I remember back when I was a kid growing up, LaSalle and St. Mary's played. Whoever won, they wouldn't want to shake hands and take pictures together after a game. And nowadays, these kids they'll play each other, and we could beat them or they could beat us, and the guys will be like, "Hey man, what's up? How you doing?" You know, I'm like, we just didn't see that. I think a lot of that's happening, but I also feel like that being able to keep them on the schedule is good as far as having a familiarity with an opponent and somebody that you've played for decades, and it keeps the kids built into the culture that was here before.
What are you looking forward to seeing from your young Tiger team against St. Mary's?
I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of effort, and that's what I told them today at practice. Is the biggest thing we want to get this week is effort and execution. At the end of the day, Jamborees get a lot of publicity, but you're playing 2 quarters, and it's not a real game.
Right.
It's just for fun, and that's the biggest thing that I want to see them do is have fun and play with a lot of energy and a lot of effort, and go out there and let the chips fall where they may. But I want to see execution first and foremost. When I turn on film, I want to see, hey, this is what we're really good at. This is what we need to improve upon. And I know that for sure because you're giving max effort, and we're having a good time, and we're out there trying to win a game. So that's what I want to see tomorrow.
Is Jamboree for the younger player? It gives them a chance to test themselves before the regular season. So, what do you think is going to show to these younger kids, ones that's never had to play this kind of rivalry game or any kind of game like this?
It gives them a kind of a feel for what it's going to feel like in a real one. When you step on the field the next week against somebody and it's 4 quarters, what's it going to be like? How's the pace of the game going to be? I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Scrimmages are good for practicing against someone else, but they don't give you a true feel of the pace of the game. Jamboree is good for not only the practice and the having another opponent element of it, but it's also really good as now you have a game clock, you have a play clock. It has a real game-like environment. It kind of gives you that last dress rehearsal, so to speak, before the actual regular season.
What are the main things you want to see from your team Friday night against St. Mary's?
Well, like I said, effort and execution is big, but also discipline and avoiding penalties in big moments and things like that, and also understanding the game and the where we're at on the game and just how to compete at a high level, like how to hit, how to be violent, how to be the player that wants it the most. That's what I want to see a lot of. So.
For Tiger fans who look at this roster and see a lot of underclassmen, what would you tell them about the group and why should they be excited about the young 2026 Tigers?
Well, I mean, if you just glance at it and see 2 seniors, like, oh man, they're not going to be very good this year. They're young, But I think that's if you're not paying close attention, you don't understand.
Yes, sir.
Because last year we went 6-4 with almost every one of these kids playing. Yeah, we lost a couple big headliners on offense, and we lost a few really good defensive playmakers from that team too. But a lot of these kids played a ton of reps last year, especially in the trenches. And as people love to say, football is a game won in the trenches. And I see this a lot when you're watching college games nowadays. The guys, they don't talk about who's a junior or senior because nowadays in college football with the portal and early draft entrances, there may be a team that has 5 sophomores. And those 5 sophomores may have 100 games between all 5 of them that they played in.
Yeah.
And to me, like, you can have 5 sophomores that have more experience than seniors, and they can overplay those seniors because they played a ton in the past. And I think last year a lot of these young guys playing against teams like Logansport, who competes for a state title every year, playing against St. Mary's, who honestly was just a lot better up front than us last year, that gives them an opportunity to grow and get better and improve. And I think you'll see that kind of come to fruition. We see it in our team. This year, the scrimmage, like I said, it was far from perfect, but it was way better than it was last year. And way better than the year before that. So these guys are trending in the right direction. They're continuing to get better and better. And that makes me excited to see what we'll have coming this year.
Finally, Coach, with this season, when it's over, what would you like the people to say about this young group of Tigers and the way they have competed?
I want people to say, man, they're violent. They play hard. We don't like to play against them because they're going to knock your head off.
Yeah.
I want them to say that they can make big plays. They can play great defense. They are good tacklers. I want them to say they have a lot of good athletes and ball handlers. And ultimately, I want them to say, man, you better watch out for LaSalle next year. They only lost 2 seniors.
There you go. That's going to be dangerous. Oh, yeah, and by the way, congratulations on the new baby, the new Tiger.
Yes, sir. He's here. Here.
So that's going to do it for us this time for Tiger Talk. And that will do it for this episode. Big thank you to Coach Johnson. And also for join us again next week. So we'll break down the Jamboree game against St. Mary's and be prepared for the next game. Y'all join us next time on Tiger Talk. I think it was better when just ask questions.